What's up, you guys? Jake State Farm here with Atomic Theory, bringing you yet another video of an hourly Atomic Arena. We are hopping into this one a little late, just about 10 minutes late, so an hour-long arena, not too shabby. We've still got a good chance, and I'm gonna go out and say it here. I'm feeling good today. I'm feeling like an undefeated arena. I don't know what you guys think, but yeah, I think we can take it down. We were able to win the last one I played in, and definitely haven't been performing as well as I'd like to, though. Kind of rusty overall, and I don't know, probably still getting adjusted to, talking about my moves and all that. So, yeah, still a lot to learn here for me personally, but yeah, we'll see. I think I'm feeling good today. Feeling like locked in. I've reviewed some of my games, gone over some prep, and I don't know. I got a good feeling about today, so I hope you guys do as well. Hope you guys are all doing well today. I really do appreciate all the support. Appreciate all the hate comments as well. Honestly, one of the funniest things about doing this is as I'm posting these shorts online of me playing, a lot of people don't understand what I'm doing. They think I'm playing standard chess. They think I'm making a bunch of big mistakes and stuff. So that's honestly been one of my favorite parts about it is seeing all the hate comments and stuff. Um, it just boosts my my outreach, boosts all the metrics for all my videos and all that. So I really do appreciate all the hate comments. I hope they keep on coming. Um, but yeah, we're hopping right in here, and I don't know if you guys know this, but there's a site I was looking at today. I can't think of what it's called off the top of my head. It's like a Lichess arena ranking, something like that. And basically, you can sort by player, or sorry, sort by variant and arena type. So you could sort by hourly atomic arena or daily King of the Hill arenas, or whatever it is that you're looking into, and see who's won the most out of those in second place and third place and all that. Um, and I'm pretty far back on those. I haven't played a whole lot of arena tournaments, or at least sometimes I'll hop in for like a few moves, but then I won't stay the whole time. So I'm kind of interested in maybe seeing if I can give you guys an update on that, on where I stand, and then see how far I can improve from that. Here we are jumping in against I'm not quite sure how to say that, Joe Count Baron. I'm not really sure. Don't judge me for that, but this is the guy that we were beating pretty bad last time, and then we made some mistakes, and he was able to take it down against us. So definitely looking for some revenge here for sure. Already he's losing. I think he's got to play h4, and then we'll have queen f6 and queen d4 here. So yeah, knight h6, a tricky move. G4 is the best move here. You can also play h3. You can also play knight e5. It's not as common, but you gotta know what you're doing. Yeah, G4. If I'm to take there, exploding his knight, he'll then play knight d5 and knight c7 and win my pieces over here. So yeah, tricky line though. Something that my opponent should probably go back and study for himself. Hey, there we go. Revenge tastes sweet. Yeah, guys, as I said in another video, I think, man, I'm really new to this, so I appreciate you guys sticking with me through all the technical difficulties. I'm figuring out this setup on the fly, really, so yeah, a lot to learn from me, and trying to figure out some content to do. I want to do some more like analysis of some of my good games and stuff. I think that's helpful. I'm also looking at hosting some events, maybe some cash prizes. So I'm not sure, but I would love input from what you guys want to see. Maybe you guys want to see me play a high level match. I don't know. I don't know. What are you guys interested in? Please let me know in the comments. I'm all ears. I'm not just doing this just to play hourly atomic arenas every time. I think it's exciting, but I want to do whatever content you guys want to see. So let me know. Oh my goodness, how are you gonna do that as the top player? You're gonna resign. He's that scared. Thing is, like, how is he gonna win the arena if he keeps losing his streaks? I mean, if you care that much about winning your games, I don't know, man. This is a true story. This is what this reminds me of actually. I was playing in that over the board tournament. Gosh, probably 7, 8 years ago, something like that. And I was playing against a GM. I think he was a 20. He was a super GM. I think he was a 2650 or something, super highly rated. And at the time, I was about 1700. And he beat me in 6 moves. No joke. He beat me in legitimately 6 moves. While I'm waiting for this, I think I can pull this up. This is so embarrassing. I was white here. I think it was something like. I don't remember the exact move order to be honest, but it was something like the checkmate was something like this. Yeah, I think it was 6 moves, so didn't quite go like that. But oh my goodness, what's going on here? Twice in a row, they've just resigned against me. They're too scared of the State Farm insurance agent. That's crazy. But yeah, guys, the lesson to take away from something like that, I was so nervous that game. I just completely hung mate and won. I was going for a line that I like to play, and I was trying to fiend kettle my bishop and get my knight out to e2, but I just was not thinking clearly about my moves at all. And the lesson to be learned from from that game is to slow your heart rate down a little bit, but also, now when I'm playing against a strong player, like I always see it as an opportunity. Like I don't want to do anything too crazy out of the opening. I don't want to, try for silly tricks or tactics that I think he's gonna miss. Like, just play your game and just get a good game of chess in, and see what you can learn. I would tell my opponents that same thing that just resigned against me. Like, what are you doing? Like, why would you not want to get a game in against a strong player or just see how you shape up against him? Like, do you really care that much about winning the arena? And who knows? Like, maybe you do. I mean, especially in Atomic, there's so many different silly ways that you can lose in Atomic. I've done all of them, trust me. So it's interesting to me that you wouldn't take that opportunity to try to get better and learn something. But to each their own. But I definitely can't recommend that to you. Oof, Mohammed getting killed. Well, if I can say that. And look at this. I mean, he's pausing now. Crazy, man. He really doesn't want to play against me or something. I don't know. Not sure what's going on there. All right, so we've yet to have a game last more than like what 10 moves or something. I don't know how long this one was. Yeah, we'll see if maybe we can get matched against a stronger player here soon. Yeah, I've just been in a slump lately. I've been I don't know what it's been, and partly on video I've been playing poorly, but also I've been playing some games off camera and just not really. I don't know, just it's easy to get rusty in Atomic. I always say that, right? Like you can get rusty in Standard as well, but in Standard, if you take a year off and you come back, it's not like the quote unquote like meta has changed a lot since the last time you played. I mean, there might be some new ideas, but Standard is way more figured out than Atomic. And of course, in Atomic too, like yeah, it's a newer variant, so there's going to be new openings and stuff. But I also think it's kind of the fact that the engine isn't super reliable in Atomic, so it just you're not necessarily looking for the best engine moves. I mean, even though the engine is probably true, like as black, you're just kind of trying to complicate the position. So there's always going to be new lines. I've been beat so many times by some of the top players with these new lines that they're coming out with. Like after knight of f3, e5. There's just so many new lines that are coming out, and I can't keep up with all of them. There's so much to memorize and calculate in just a couple minutes what the best move is. So here we go. We got a good game so far. So g4 is interesting move. Not a bad move, but just an interesting move. Just kind of restricting my knight to the side of the board here. So I have to cut off knight b5. And then, yeah, I've expanded in the center here. And, okay, so good move by my opponent. He was cutting off queen h4. So now let's think here. I don't hate bishop c5, with the idea being after e takes d, we've got knight g5, or sorry, knight g4, and there's no longer e takes. I don't hate that. The idea there would be to kind of castle more quickly, but I think I'm just going to actually go d takes. This opens up a potential queen d5. He does have queen b3, but yeah, we would just block that with queen d5. And I don't know, I like this a little more. I'm now threatening knight g4, but I haven't sacked my bishop, and I'm still threatening bishop c5. So I was tempted by this move, but after e takes, well, sorry, not e takes. After something like d4, yeah, I just didn't love that. I didn't love those positions. Okay, so now we get knight g4 in. I'm not sure why he went for h4. I guess he wanted to play g6, so he was stopping queen h4 later on. So now we just need to calculate. Not easy. Not easy at all. Let's go with this. This is pretty simple. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not happy with how I played that. I probably could have started with bishop b4. No, because then there was still takes. I don't know. I had something better there, I'm sure. I just had to make a move. But we're still better. We've got a knight here on f2. Okay, now he's got a trade-off, or at least move his queen. Actually, that was a mistake, because I think we can pretty much take here no matter where he goes. I'll probably go here. No. He can push, but then we'll just queenside castle. Okay, yeah, we could just take that. There's no way to get his rook in time before I can castle queenside. We'll go ahead and clock that up, just to make sure he can't get in. And now we'll castle. Yeah, so something to note in Atomic is anytime a king is lined up one square away from any of its own pieces, a pawn, a knight, whatever, just like this, and you can move a rook here, you're always going to be able to take and get checkmate. So I think the key position here, I think I was better already slightly in this position, I'd have to guess. Yeah. Yep. So just expanding in the king side. I want to say the key position here was after f5, g5. Okay, so we did have queen b6 there. Yeah, that I completely missed queen b6. Yeah, so super important. We've got this, and if he plays something like bishop b3, we can just chop down here and get rid of the bishop. So it would be something like queen b6. He'd probably have to go d4. And then what is it here? Yeah, this would have been good. So we kind of let him back in, but then he allowed knight g4. So yeah, we could have been in trouble after d4 if we tried to go knight g4. We want to make sure not to do something like this and allow queen b3 for him. Could have been pretty scary. he'll then get on this diagonal just like we looked at for us in that line. You always want to think about that when the opponent has their c-pawn pushed up, is are there any queen b6, queen a5 ideas. It's tricky. You don't always expect it, but if that's not what happened, we played knight g4. Okay, so knight f2 was the best move there. I was looking at some other lines. So either one, knight d1 or bishop a3. And then this endgame, obviously, no matter what we do, wins. But we're really just looking for, even if you had pushed this pawn, just ways to kind of trap the king. And eventually, atomic's kind of unique. It's a lot easier to checkmate because the king is very limited in what squares he has. So for instance, I'm thinking rook e2, and if something like here, we could take here, and if he moves over, we just come this way. Yeah, super easy to checkmate when you've got a rook like this on the king. Is this the guy that just resigned against us? Alright, maybe he didn't like knight f3. Let's go e3 instead. There we go. Alright, bust out the farmer's gambit here. Man, why do people keep playing this? I've seen this like 3 times now in a row. It's not the most common response. Normally people go knight f6, knight h6, knight c6. Knight h6 is the only good move out of those 3 options, but it's not a bad move, f5. It's definitely not the best move, but I'm just surprised that people keep playing it. So we could go queen h5 here, but then my opponent would have rook h2. And it's a pleasant position to play, but there's no immediate threats with this knight. It's definitely a good position for me, but I think I want to keep this rook for him on the board because I will have the option to take this if I want, which is kind of nice. Alright, so just got to be mindful of knight g4. So f3, g4, h3, bishop h3, bishop e2. Those are all options. Let's say I didn't have my d-pawn pushed, it was on d2 instead. Then I have to be more picky. f3 is an option. I can't play h3 or d3 because then he would just go to the other square that I'm vacating. Bishop h3 or bishop d3 in that position would be fine because I'm threatening to take this pawn, and no matter where the knight moves, I'll be able to capture the knight or the pawn there. But yeah, always want to think about that. Your opponent plays knight f6, knight h6. Always want to visualize, just like in standard chess. Okay, where is he going with that? What's his plan here? I'm gonna play this weird looking move, b5. The whole point of this is to restrict him over here. It's a really common idea in this opening. That's why I really like this opening, because it's kind of a lesser known idea, but see how he has to play 2 moves there just to get rid of that b5 move. And now we could win some material if we want to. I think we do. We're giving up our dark squared bishop, but we'll be hopping in here after we castle, I think. We'll be okay. He can play bishop b7, and he probably will, and then we'll just meet it with f3. And then we'll have knight b4 there. Knight b5, sorry. Okay. I'm just going to roll this d-pawn down the board. And if he takes it, then I'll get a rook on the open file. His king can't castle, so just want to open up the position. Also want to be mindful of bishop a6, but we had to calculate that we had c4 there after bishop a6. If not, then we may have wanted to consider keeping this pawn on d3. Alright, just keep rolling it down. Yeah, and now we've got this. But he kind of had to take, otherwise we would have played d7, so. Yeah, this is, he can play this and kind of stop my mating ideas, but that's alright. Then we'll just roll this pawn down the board here. Now, very important not to, well, I could do that, but I have to give up this rook. Got the game in the bag here, don't want to make any silly mistakes. Alright, nice one. We've got this FIDE master here that's been playing some. He keeps pausing though, I'm not sure how active he is, but but maybe we'll get matched up here. He seems like he's a pretty strong player. Would love to get a good match in here. And I also noticed this 1900. We got Fred here that's on a safari. And why do we get matched up against him? Felt like we should have. I'm gonna play e5. Let's try something different here. This is my favorite line against e5. D4 is like the book move. It's actually what I play, but to me, as black, there's just so many ideas here. We're kind of gonna get our queen here, and our knight here, and try to castle it. And a lot of times we'll end up even sacking our queen for this knight. He may take our queen, but then it'll just open up our rook instead. So I love this line. I feel like that's not the right move, but no one move there is e3. I'm trying to think if there's a way to punish this. F4 is always an idea. Just gonna F4, knight takes. I think I'll go for it. The alternative is I play like h5, and then he's got knight f7, queen f6, and then like bishop g5, which is definitely not winning, but there's the potential for, I want to look at that line, but let's say I go knight h6 there, then he would have knight d5, or knight e5, d5, knight d7, and then his bishop's coming down here, so I don't know. I didn't love that. Okay, so we kind of transpose into this line anyway. Now we'll play h5. Okay, so that's a bad move by my opponent. I want to play d5 and c6 anyway. My opponent doesn't know that. He thinks, it's a common mistake where, okay, my opponent Andrew's thinking, let me just make these one move threats. Let me threaten bishop f7, and maybe he doesn't see it. Then I attack his bishop, and he says, oh no, I need to run away, even though he doesn't really need to. A common mistake you may want to make here is bishop b4, and after c3 you think, oh, I'll win this pawn here, which is true, but now queen b3 is a threat, knight c3 is a threat, and now white's the one with a lot of play. Instead, in this line, I'm the one getting all these pawns here where I really want them. So we're going to go bishop h3, he's forced to take. Then I'm going to make this weird move. I'm going to play f3. So I wanted to go queen g6, but he's got knight g5 there, that backwards knight move. So instead I'll just play f3, and that completely boxes in these pieces. This is a really nice move. If I play knight h6 or something instead, he could go like e takes f, and now his bishop is open. His queen could potentially come out, so we're looking pretty good here. Yeah, so queen e6 was a threat I had, and there was no way to stop this, but he maybe intentionally or possibly unintentionally stopped it. Okay, we're going to say unintentionally stopped it, because now we've got queen e6, and, well, not so fast. Not so fast. He would have had knight d6 in that line, so I stand corrected. Alright, this is kind of a dirty trick, threatening this after queen g6. We had this and this, but there's not really a clear way to win that. I'm going for just a quick mate here. And now if knight d6, well, we would just take. Okay, that's a really good move by my opponent. I'm not so pleased with my position. My position that was very strong just a few moves ago. Let's go rook h6. Have to do this to defend against like a queen e1. Yeah, that's a good move. Rook e1 is strong. I might go queen a5. Queen a5 is... Ah, man, we had him there. The undefeated streak is over. We continue to... It's a good game by my opponent, but we continue to really not play too well. I mean, we definitely had him here. He made some mistakes. Yeah, just his advantage before bishop c4, bishop b5, but then it's pretty even. Yeah, like I said, f3, crucial move. I mean, it suggests bishop b4, but then after c3, yeah, I'm guessing you would play f3. Just such a nice move here. Oh, sorry, I did it wrong. Okay, I was giving myself a pat on the back, but I had the bishop h3 was my... I thought it had to be right, but f3 first. Okay, okay. Sure, I missed some kind of mate here or something. Yeah, e4 was a crucial move by my opponent. Didn't realize that after knight takes, he was free from the cage that I'd put him in. I'm so curious if I had anything after this. Yeah. Man, that's too bad. Really wanted to go undefeated this time. Alright, here we go. This guy is playing old knight f3, e3 line. Here we go. So we're going to play f5. We're going to allow knight b5 if he wants it. Then we'll sack our queen for 2 pieces. If you're wondering, the best move in this position is queen h5, g6, queen g5, queen takes, and then knight b5, with the idea that I no longer can sack my queen. Black has so many tricks there. It's such a fun line for black, but it's definitely a much... As white, if you know what you're doing, it's a good line for white. You'll get knight b5 in, and you'll get, you know, a7 or c7 there. But okay, so my opponent's got to be really precise here to stop this, and c3 is not a bad move. Not the best move, I don't think, but it's not a bad move. So I'm threatening knight f3 and knight d3. So probably d3 is his best move. And he can just trade his queen off, and then we're just up a bishop. But could have been a lot worse for white. All right, let's cut off the knight. Probably not a good move. Let's play knight h4. I kind of want to play e5 and open up this bishop, but we can't do that with the knight on f6 because then he would just take. All right, so this is going to be really strong. I'm going to block in this pawn first so that I'm able to get bishop e7 in, and now we don't care if he takes on g7. We're just going to have bishop h4 coming in. So we're going to go... There's a couple ways to do this. So I could go bishop h4 first, and then after rook g3 I could play bishop g2 and take here. I'm just going to start with bishop g2. Now he has to sack his rook, and we'll see if he does. If not, then my bishop is infiltrating. Actually, I reckon my bishop's infiltrating either way, but... Oh, I did allow h4, but I guess I'll just play g5. Yeah, I probably should have just started with bishop h4. But yeah, definitely want to look at your opponent's threats, but in this case, he's really only threatening to win a pawn, and our compensation, if he took that pawn, would likely be checkmate, so not too worried about that. Yeah, so gotta play bishop e3 here. I'll probably just take on d4. It's tempting to play something like bishop f1 and threaten this, but we don't want to hang bishop f1, rook f1 there. Okay, good move on my opponent. There's no way to stop c6 and a6. I don't really feel like handling a knight on the loose there, so I'm just going to go ahead and chop off. Now a really good move would be e5. Otherwise I can play d takes, and opening up the position would be very simple. This isn't bad for me. If he plays I'm going to get to his king, and I'll just stop this pawn with my king. Whenever he plays e6, I'll respond with king e7, and I'll ensure that my rooks can come here and stop any threats that his rooks, if they were ever able to infiltrate there. Probably needs to push his b pawn to stop c3 and c takes b. Alright, you can't go here because of my bishop, so his king is still boxed in. Looking at like c2, rook c3. It's actually a really good move. They want to take. Okay, it's another good move. I'm playing this slow. I could go bishop check, but let me block in any ideas from his rook first. Now he'll probably go rook e1. I guess not. Yeah, and he does have that, but we're going to be able to break through here. He's making it tricky for us. He's got the kings connected, which is never fun, but now he may go rook e1. Okay, so let's play it. Alright. Atomic endgames are weird. They're a lot different than normal endgames. But yeah, just trying to move your king out of the way and just looking for a piece that you can take that his king is connected to. That was a really good game by my opponent. Fan of the GDE was scared of us at first, but yeah, so queen h5, super necessary move, and I'll show you this here. Yeah, so queen h5, it's good for white, but as you can see, these are really good odds for black. In fact, I'll go back and move and show you. f5 is not the most common move. It's not really the computer recommended move, but it gets good results. And even I'll show you another line here after bishop b4, c3. F5 here is even better in terms of win percentage, but yeah, so knight b5 is a pretty crucial mistake. The computer will say it's somewhat even, but if you don't know queen h5 there, then you're probably losing that position. All right, let's open with g3. Don't really recommend this move to you guys if you're new to Atomic, but I've played quite a bit of Atomic in my day, and I'm okay with it. So interesting move that my opponent. Well, could he? Yeah, I'm trying to think. I wonder if e6 is a move there for my opponent, and if I take how queen f6 is, I'd have to play knight f3, and then after bishop d6. I'm thinking if he had played e6 there, I would have to do something like e4 to stop this knight from coming in. But yeah, the simple idea here is if knight e4, I would just have bishop d7. So instead he goes knight g4. And now we're at an even position, but I've got g3 played. So he's going for this idea, but I do have some ideas of like this. Just trying to think here. Defending this and this, but we're not really worried about anything here. In fact, I think I'll play d3, and I think this is a mistake from him. He's got to play knight e3 now. Otherwise, I'll just get this knight. Yeah. So I haven't even really calculated this, but there's just when you've got every pawn on the back rank here and a queen on a4, I'm pretty sure there's going to be checkmate here. Although I'm not so sure about it anymore. Maybe I should have started with queen b3. Yeah, that could be right because then you have b6. I'm not too pleased with this. I could do bishop h6 though. I might do that. Just making sure I'm not missing anything here. This is crazy. Yeah, I thought surely I'd have checkmate. Now if g takes, I've got queen h4, queen h5. So at least we'll get our material back here, but I'm not too happy about how that went. Thought I surely had checkmate somewhere. Probably go queen a5. Okay, queen b6. It's a good move. Okay, yeah, I understand, because now... trying to see if I have any kind of e3 ideas here. I'm gonna go for it. This would have been the simpler way, but I don't really like the way that he's got this. Yeah, so he just forgot about queen h4. I'm really curious about that game. I wonder where I went wrong. I never played g3. That might be the first time I've ever opened with g3. I just wanted to try something new. Okay, yeah, e6 is an idea. So I'm curious about this line. Okay, it's just queen g5. That makes sense, because then after f4, he would have queen d5, threatening queen g2. Yeah, I don't even know that line because I never played this before. Ah, knight f3. Okay, that's interesting. That cuts off these squares, and it threatens knight e5 after. That's a really cool move. I gotta keep that in the back of my mind. Okay, so d3 was the best move, and f3 as well. Wow, this is really surprising. Okay, so I played perfect so far, other than the opening, of course. Let's see what they thought about e3. So I had a win here. I looked at queen e4. Let's play one of these. I think I'm missing the idea here. Oh, I understand. So we're just looking for a way to trade off queens, basically, and then I'll take, and I'll be up a piece. I see. Okay, that would have been smart. Yeah, instead, my opponent just hung mate. Alright. I'd like to get a game in against one of these stronger players here. We've got a few 1900s now, so hopefully we'll get in a good game here for you guys. I say a good game, we just had a good one, and then the game before that, or a couple games before that, I took the L, so you guys shouldn't be hoping for a good game. Let's put knight a3. h3. Knights on the rim are dim. It's not always a true in atomic, though. Alright, knight f4. So far, my opponent's played book moves. Super rare line, though. I'm sure he doesn't know what to do here. So, I was going to say knight f6 is a good move. Bishop b7 is a good move. d5 is not a terrible move if you know what you're doing. So, a lot of options there. You got to take to stop knight e4, and we're up a pawn here, but realistically, it's not great for me. After something like g6, I almost have queen g4, queen e4, but if g6, queen g4, there's then f5, and this is even better than that line, actually. So he's threatening bishop g4. The problem with this line after knight a3 and b5 is it's just really hard to get any kind of activity in this line. He may already have bishop g4, bishop h3 ideas. And I can't take, obviously, because of queen h4. So let's just stop those ideas with g3. Okay. I think we're okay here, but it's honestly still not easy. We're up a pawn, but black's pieces are just a little better than ours here. Okay. Queen e2. Yeah, let's play h4. He may go for this, which I honestly probably shouldn't have played h4 if I'm being honest with myself. For some reason, I thought the knight could take that. Okay. I need to go to bed. Alright, so on cue. I'm going to play bishop d2, kind of force this a5 move out of him. He could also castle, but a5 is probably the best move, and just getting this bishop off this line for maybe something like c4 or c1. I think I will go with c4. Okay. We're going to play c takes. We're now threatening queen b5 and knight b5. He could play bishop a6, but then I would still just play knight b5. He'll probably go c4 here. Okay. I also had bishop takes a5 if I wanted it, but I think this line is clean. This isn't easy though. Alright, let's castle. Yeah, bishop takes would have been better than knight b4, or knight b5 rather. Alright. Okay, so now we can move our knight finally. Although, can we? So bishop c3 first. If we moved our knight, he had pawn c3. We gotta hurry up here as well. I'd love to open up in the center here and just start trading off, but I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to do that here with this rook. That was a bad move by my opponent. I think he just hung his queen here. I think he missed bishop b4. Even rook c5 doesn't work there because I'd have e takes and he can't come down here and take because I've still got mate. So we'll give our queen back just to simplify into an endgame here. After c3, rook c2 isn't actually, it's not even necessary with how his bishop is placed there. I had pawns here guarding his bishop from coming in, so we don't mind pawn c2. Yeah. This one was tricky. That was a good game. Good game of my opponent. Let's see if I can pull this up here. Alright, so yeah. So in hourly arenas, we are in 32nd place. I'd like to see if maybe as this series goes on, I can get to top 10 or something. Curious what it is for. Okay, 30th for all of them. Yeah, I'd like to see if that's possible. I know for some of these, like monthly, I think I'm a little, yeah, monthly. I've won a couple of those. What about yearly? Where am I at in yearly? Okay, yeah. So that's kind of a long-term goal for me, is to see if I can climb that leaderboard there. I'd like to if I can. We're going with knight h6 again. I think it's a little better than c6, which is the alternative. Interesting. I'm going to go ahead and play f5. Okay, so that just transposed. b4. This line is really a lot of theory. Can't take here or here. I think both lines would allow bishop g5. Actually, f takes maybe queen h5 instead. I'm not sure, but can't allow any of that. Now, g6 is the move you want to play, but then after knight takes, queen h4, rook g3, it is tricky. So let's look at other alternatives. We've got rook f8, knight f7, and then same thing, but at least we've still got our rook on the board. I think I'll go for rook f8. I think this is the right move. I'm just trying to remember. Yeah, and so the nice thing about queen h4 and rook g3 is like this king here, it's going to be tough for it to escape. It's really going to be tough for it to ever go queenside as well with my bishop here. He's going to have to play, he'll definitely play something like a3, I think. Okay. Let's go with d5. I think he's got to play e5 now. Honestly, I shouldn't have played that. I'm not happy about that. Yeah, yeah, I shouldn't have played that. Alright, now we gotta go a little aggressive, maybe. I really didn't need to play that. I didn't fully think through that. My pawn on d6 was okay. It's just tough to make progress. You kind of get antsy. You want to make a move. Now d5 is really strong. That's also strong. But got some ideas here. This f pawn is the problem, actually. Honestly. If he takes queen e2, bishop e6, queen d5. I don't think I have anything there. We're gonna go c takes instead. d5 is still a threat, but I could come back with queen d8. It's not over. Queen d8 is certainly an idea. Then his rook's gotta run. I think he probably should have kept his knight there longer than he did. Yeah, I mean, if his rook doesn't run, then I've got f takes with a tempo and threatening queen h4. So, like, something like d6, I have to think loses. But it's certainly not over for him. He's got plenty of moves here, I'm sure. Yeah, any kind of rook move keeps him alive. There's almost this weird repetition idea. He's got to go back. I should be happy with a draw. I mean, this position was completely losing for me before, so I should be the one that wants to repeat here. But do I go for something like f3? I think it's too risky, honestly. Yeah, I honestly think it's too risky. I think I gotta go for this. Alright, I want to look at this one. I guess we should hop back in first. See if we can get another game in. It's a good game on my opponent. That's two knights is probably the best line from white, so you can't be too upset with that. Okay, so bishop d6. Wow, that's a lot stronger. The computer hates bishop b4. Okay, so really nothing there was good. d6, that's right. Yeah, d5 was a huge mistake. And I knew that was a mistake too. I knew he needed to keep his knight on f7 there. This is where I had a little bit of hope. I also thought knight e4. That's what I was thinking during the game, is that he'd go knight e4. Since this d6 square would have been really strong. But yeah, so c takes was right. Yeah, and it looks like we had to repeat. Maybe we were the ones that could have played something if we wanted to, but we would have been slightly worse if we did, so gotta be happy with that. Go back to e5. Let's get redemption for this line. Okay, not a bad move. Go d5. We're going to allow knight e5 here. At this point, his knight is worth a lot more than this pawn, so we're happy to sacrifice a pawn if it means getting rid of his really strong knight. If not, if he doesn't take it, then we'll just try to castle, and we'll have to try to play around this knight as best we can. Oh, I should have played, potentially. Good mouse slip, maybe. Maybe not, I don't know. Can't go king g1 here, though. Had to be a mouse slip. Alright. I'm pretty happy now. Let's think about this. Gotta play d3 now. So I could have gone bishop f1, bishop d3, bishop c2, but it seems pretty slow for what it is. This bishop's really strong. I don't think I really want to take 3 moves just to win, a knight and a pawn. So knight a6 was another consideration, just to give this rook some room, but went for the more direct approach here. His knight's pretty much stuck here. In fact, I'm actually going to play bishop f1. The reason being is if I play knight a6, he may have king d1, and after bishop here, he could sack his rook, and then his knight would be free. So just making sure that he doesn't have anything there. Oh my gosh. You hate to see that. Yeah, I don't know what it is, if it's the commentating or what, but I just can't be making mistakes like that. That's really bad. Yeah, I wonder if Castles was any better. Yeah, probably was a mouse slip. Just completely failed to realize he even had that idea. I don't know if he knew he had it, but he played it pretty quick. Seems like he would have gone for earlier. Well played to my opponent. I mean, it's not the easiest thing to spot, but I'm just distracted or something. I'm not sure what's going on. Anyway, that'll do it for today's video. It looks like we still are going to win. And hey, kind of comes full circle here. I was telling you guys that this guy should, you know, keep playing, and you know, even if he knows he's going to lose, it's still worth it to play and not resign just to learn something from the game. And hey, sure enough, on the last game of the arena, he ends up beating me. Great win for my opponent. Well played to him. I'm super upset that I missed that. And 22-38, that's got to be my lowest rating in a while. So I'm going to hope to get that back up. Hope to stay on the grind. But yeah, for now, we'll celebrate the confetti, celebrate the first place finish. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. I hope you learned something today, and I'll see you guys in the next one.